Hi, everybody. I got to make this quick because my shift starts in about 30 minutes. Thank you so much for coming. You know, Hong Kong, I have a lot of dear memories here. Lived here in 2015 and 2016. I'd ping pong between Osaka and Hong Kong, and it was good to be in an unregulated industry in my mid 20s in Hong Kong. That was fun. So, the industry's not healthy. Shit is getting real, you know? We got no liquidity. A lot of people are sad. Twitter is just a nuclear dumpster fire. Sentiment's at an all-time low. And that's okay, because the thing is that despite the fact that the micro looks bad, the macro is just saying we need to have a new paradigm, a new vision, new narrative. I've been in the industry for 15 years. And I remember in the old days when Bitcoin was $1. And you know what happened with the first and second generation is it got old. We had Litecoin and Freycoin and Feathercoin and all this garbage. And everybody's, crypto's over, it's done. We don't like crypto anymore. And then Ethereum came out and everybody got excited again. We had a new narrative, we had a new thing, and for a while it worked. Then the third generation came out. We had Solana, and we had Algorand, Tezos, Cardano, brought 2021. So we're right there at the inflection point between a third and a fourth generation. And until we get there, it's bad times because retail's gone. The message is gone. People are gone. They just don't want to come back in. Because what were they looking forward to? They were looking for Luna. They were looking for FTX, all these things. Meme coin mania, NFT mania, Trump coin. The meme has become reality. So let's talk about the new narrative. First and foremost, we have a few announcements. You know, we have this thing in Cardano called the Pentad, and we have some partnerships. And I got a new one for you guys. So we love the Layer Zero guys. And we went and negotiated with them for quite some time. And we were able to get Layer Zero to come to Cardano and the broader Cardano ecosystem. So I wanted to be the first to announce that and bring that to all you guys. We announced not too long ago that USDC X is coming to Cardano. Now we have launch date, end of February. And actually, we've done some amazing engineering with this to have a beautiful user experience. You can go straight from a Lace wallet or straight from any wallet to Coinbase or Binance and back, and there's instant convertibility to USDC. The difference is it has privacy and it's also immutable and reversible. So it's actually better than the real thing. So Layer Zero, we got USDC. That's fun. That's Cardano. We're not here today to talk about Cardano, though. We're here to talk a little bit about Midnight. And I love Midnight. You know why? Because it's the new paradigm. Why is it the new paradigm? Because I can draw a triangle, and that's all you're ever going to need. That's why the presentation's called Triangle Man. And it's only got 3 parts, 3 corners. It should, or else it's not a triangle. You got pet, you got smart compliance, and you got abstraction. And I'm going to make an argument that this is what's going to bring billions of users into our space. This is what's going to bring all the big guys into the space. Why is it McDonald's is not on a blockchain? Why is it Microsoft's not on a blockchain? Why is it when Maersk and IBM get together and they announce this amazing pilot with Fabric and we all get excited, say, oh my God, the world's largest shipping company is going to be on a blockchain. Supply chain is like the thing for blockchain, right? And then after a year or two, the announcement comes in and nothing happens. It's been 15 years of announcements. Announcements. And no one ever migrates. Why do they not migrate? Because it turns out that they're missing something. Privacy enhancing technology. Blockchains, they have public side. That's awesome. Time-stamped, irreversible, immutable. We've never had anything quite like it in human history. When you put something in, it's there forever. You can't redact it. Makes a lot of people in Washington, D.C. pretty worried. It's great to have something like that. But business also has a private side. Your HR records, your medical records, how much you pay people, the contractual relationships between various people, intellectual property, all kinds of things, trade secrets. And if we share too much, it creates existential liability for the business. So if you try to put your entire business logic, your entire business on a blockchain, you know what ends up happening? You get hurt. So when Microsoft does the pilot, Maersk does the pilot, all these different companies do the pilots, they get them to the point where they need privacy, and then people tell them you got to build it off chain. They say, okay, what's the point then? I'm doing all this stuff on a blockchain until I can't use a blockchain anymore, and then it's centralized and controlled by a small federation of people. So why did I even bother building a blockchain? That doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to anyone. So 6 years ago, we started a research program, a beautiful research program called Midnight. I spent over $200 million. We had more than 150 scientists involved, many different institutions. And we asked that very fundamental question: can we have the same properties that Bitcoin has and Ethereum has and Cardano has, but have private smart contracts? Can we bring that to the market? And the answer is not only yes, we did. But it's not good enough to look at privacy like a light switch. Is, oh, you're private or not. Privacy is like waterproofing. It's like a watch, like a diver's watch. It's up to a depth. You know what happens when you're waterproofing? The rains, you think you've got it done, and you see that little leak. It's the same. You can have multi-party computation. You can have fully homomorphic encryption. You can have zero knowledge. You have network anonymization. You can have confidential compute. You can have all this stuff. But then you're doing it on a cell phone that has a compromised operating system. Or then you're doing it on a cell phone that has a backdoor inside the hardware. And that's the thing. Just like you're waterproof to a certain depth, you go a little deeper, it's a little harder. So the individual's needs, the corporation's needs, and the government's needs are very different with privacy. So what we need is to treat privacy like ChatGPT. It's the fastest growing product in human history. It went from 0 people to 800 million, and it's an API. You just call it. And every 6 months, it gets better. It adds new features. You start simple with text, and then you get images, and then you get video. Well, analogously, we can start with zero knowledge. And we did that. Boy, did we do a lot of that. And then you can go from zero knowledge to multi-party computation and confidential compute and all kinds of crazy new things, and it make it very easy for people to embed. So one big part of the triangle is trying to figure out a way that everybody can use it. There are 11 million tokens were launched last year. Most failed, vast majority. Why? Because they all tell you the same thing. Here's my token. Buy my token, migrate your users and my people to my chain. But did ChatGPT do that? No, they allowed you to embed themselves in your experience. So you have the brand, you have the users, you have the app, you're using an API. So if a blockchain is to be successful in this new generation, it can't throw away the network effect of Solana and Ethereum and all these other things. So you know what else you need is abstraction. That's what makes it universal, and that's what makes it simple for everybody to use. So Midnight, as we build it out, we airdropped it to 8 ecosystems, 7 blockchains. About 33 million people were eligible, about 1 million redeemed. And we had people in the Solana ecosystem, Ethereum ecosystem, Bitcoin ecosystem, Cardano ecosystem, all the way down, XRP, so forth. No one paid anything for it, they got it. And you can use these privacy enhancing features with the token you already own and the ecosystem you already belong to. You don't have to migrate. It's another lesson we learn from these products that grow exponentially. The other part of abstraction is the Web 2 user experience. So you all have this. Some of you are recording me with it. And what is your user experience? You push a button, you have a fingerprint, and look at that. It just works. So why in God's name, 15 years into this, are we telling people, yeah, I know there's 5 billion of you that have this. You have this experience. You're used to using it. But guess what? You're not going to have that experience. Instead, you have to know the keywords. You have to know the cryptography. You have to know how Ethereum works. You have to know how miner extractable value works. You have to save 24 keywords. Does that make any sense to you? Why then would consumers come in masse and adopt these types of systems? So what if, with abstraction, to create a wallet, you scan a QR code, you tap your thumb, you enter a PIN code, and you have it. And it just works. And it works not just with Midnight, but with 33 blockchains. You can talk to Bitcoin, you can talk to Ethereum, you can talk to Solana, all these other things. You just authorize it. It's simple. It's magical. And you pay them what you want. And finally, a lot of you are in the finance industry. Over here, smart compliance. I just sell fries. So over here, with the finance industry, what is compliance about? It's about rules. And is rules just keeping the government happy? No, rules about safety. Let's say that you're a mom and you got an 8-year-old. Maybe if there's a social network, you only want your 8-year-old talking to 8-year-olds and not a creepy, weird 40-year-old. So you'd like to do age verification. Maybe you're a business and you want to have a partnership with another business, but they live in a jurisdiction that's really hard to get rule of law in. So even if you collaborate with that business, what's the guarantee you're going to get that when they steal your intellectual property, you could actually sue them? So it turns out that there's a whole emerging field of amazing things from great partners like ZKMe. We have DIDs, we have all kinds of stuff that allows you to put rules, embed them with privacy, embed them with abstraction, and make them super simple so that when you do business with people as the individual, the company, and as the country, you can restore your sovereignty and you can say, hey, this is the way it is. So this is the 4th generation. This is the new narrative. Works on a phone, works for everybody. Be honest about privacy, treat it like waterproofing, works to a certain depth. There's all kinds of amazing technologies with it, and everybody gets to set the rules for everyone everywhere. So we've been talking about it. But you say, Charles, when Mainnet? Well, I'll tell you, how about end of March? The very first version of Midnight's launching, and we have some great partners. Just like Cardano, where we launched with Byron and Shelley and Basho, we decided to run it in fast mode, but we still follow that same flow because we learned how to run a network for the last 10 years. So the federated mainnet is launching in end of March, and we have some great collaborations to help us run it. Google is one of them. Telegram is another. We're really excited, and there's more that will come, more that will be announced. And they've been a phenomenal partner with all of this. They've been a phenomenal relationship with all of this. They've helped us grow, they've helped us thrive, and really think about this paradigm. But I could talk about this forever. How about I just show it to you? So I want to welcome up on stage Jan Miller, a very good friend of mine. And I asked a very simple question. If everything's private or we have this selective disclosure, we have these privacy systems, how do you visualize a blockchain? The Explorer doesn't work anymore. So I said, you know what we should do is we should build not just a visualization, but how about an agentic civilization? So today, I'd like to introduce something that's going to be launching February 26th. This is Midnight City. So Jan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Midnight City is?
Thank you, Charles, and welcome to Midnight City. This is a city that's populated entirely by AI agents. So these little people here, they're run by an AI, and each of them has their own character, their own personality. They have jobs that they do, just like you. They go about their daily lives, and they're online 24/7. And we can watch them here. And the cool thing about Midnight City is that these agents use Midnight for all of their financial transactions. So every time they make a payment, they buy or sell anything, they register a business. This is all a transaction on Midnight, on the Midnight network. So the entire economy of Midnight City runs on Midnight right now. This is live, so we're looking at it as it's happening. But let's zoom out a little bit and look at the districts of this city. We've got a whole variety. So there's a northern district where they mine crystals and power the economy. Eastern district, peaceful, larger houses. There's a little park. Southern district, we have a harbor here, more commerce. There's a town square where they can discuss news and exchange opinions. And then finally, we have this farm, some bison, livestock, and that's where the agricultural heart of Midnight City is. We can also look at the economy that's visualized here at the bottom in these panels. So we have very important this gauge here, which shows us how many transactions are actually happening right now. So this is the transactions per second that are produced by those agents in Midnight City. We have a couple of other metrics on the performance of the system. And then on the right-hand side, there's also something on the economy of Midnight City. How much value is being transferred. So there's a real economic system underneath the simulation here. At the top, we can see all of the transactions that the agents generate. And if we look at one of them, it's all encrypted. We can't see who sent it, who received it, or what the amount was. And this is because they're using Midnight. for their payments. So that's all, they're all private. By default, they're hidden from anyone who's just looking at the chain from the outside. But there are legitimate use cases where you want to see and you want to reveal to other people what's happening in those transactions. And to do that, the agents use selective disclosure. So if they want to show to a bank their previous income to apply for a loan, or if they have an audit that they need to comply with, they can use selective disclosure to reveal some of the details of their past transactions. And we've built this into the simulation with this auditor mode. So we can switch, take on the role of an auditor, and then we can see what's actually happening, who paid whom, and how much was transferred. And underneath, there's a cryptographic operation that's being applied. So we have a viewing key, and we can look at some of the fields of those transactions. But this revealing of the data, it's only targeted at the institution or at the auditor that needs to see the data. It's not making it public. It's only selective to specific institutions. Another important aspect of this is that because the agents generate so much traffic, as we can see here, so we consistently have dozens, hundreds of TPS that need to be managed, we're actually building a layer 2 for the Midnight chain as a part of this project. And this is what's running live already. And the layer 2 for Midnight is a general purpose layer 2, so it's not specific to Midnight City. It's available to all apps that run on Midnight.
And I just have to mention real quickly, that's been one of our most fun collaborations. We took technology that was invented out of Stanford, LatticeFold, lattice-based cryptography system that uses folding. And we've been working with wonderful scientists ranging from Google to Microsoft and other places. And we have a Linux Foundation program called Nightstream. And actually, we're slowly putting it into the Midnight City simulation. And what makes it so special is not only is it post-quantum, but the math that we can do with lattices reuses the math that the GPUs use in all the AI centers. This is why the relationships with Google and Microsoft and Amazon are so powerful for us, because they've spent hundreds of billions of dollars building some of the most powerful computing systems in the world, and we get to linearly scale with them. So that means Midnight's ready to meet the needs of billions of people as we do the simplification.
We can see the layer 2 in action as well. We can open every transaction here has a link to the blockchain explorer. And this is an actual part of the layer 2 that's deployed on a public cloud. We can see the details of those transactions, and this includes all transactions. So not just the Midnight City ones, but any transactions that go through the layer 2 are available here. And what's really interesting about the layer 2 is that we have this data here on TEE attestations. And
that's the whole PET thing, where you unify different things together. You put ZK with MPC with TEE, and when you put these things together, you massively improve the user experience, throughput, and security. It's waterproofing, and you put layers and layers.
Yeah, this is actually running in the Azure cloud in a trusted execution environment. So it's it certifies the rollups from the layer 2, and we can propagate them to the layer 1. And there's a lot more to the simulation, and I'll be at the booth all day to give these live demos, answer questions. You can figure out what this God mode is for. So just visit us at the booth and go to midnight.city to learn more about the project.
And one final thing about Midnight City. It's a beautiful interface, but it would be worthless if you couldn't interact with it. So one of the things you're going to be able to do in March is we're going to allow people to actually create their own avatars in Midnight City and deploy them. And kind of like the video game Majesty, they just start playing the game. You indirectly control them. It's the Tamagotchi of the 21st century. And you can kind of see them running around, spending a private stable coin, doing selective disclosure. And every single time we get a new partnership, a new relationship, or a new thing in Midnight, we put it in Midnight City. It's the front page of the cryptocurrency. And it allows us all to talk around and think about how would these things run at scale. These are AI agents. They're intrinsically unpredictable. We don't directly control them. They just kind of do their own thing. So over time, they'll hold elections, commit virtual crimes, have virtual love stories. So we invite you all to go and see it. So we're very excited to launch Midnight. The very first version of the network will go live in the end of March, as I said. We have a lot of great relationships to help us run it. And every 2 to 3 months, something new comes out. Midnight City, every 2 weeks, something comes out. All of this was built in 3 months. So this was not a long-standing project. Everybody came together, Argentina, multiple times. We're in ship mode. This has to happen because I don't want to lose the cryptocurrency space to a bunch of bank chains. We got to keep it real, and we actually have to push power to the edges. And how we do that is put you in charge of your wallet, your identity, your data, and ultimately who and how you disclose things to people. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We ran a little bit over time. And now I got to get to my shift. Cheers.
Thank you.